We are in A Course in Miracles. This is the combined volume by the Foundation for Inner Peace. We are picking up our reading in Chapter 31, The Final Vision, Section 1, The Simplicity of Salvation. We are picking up on paragraph 6. Is this a little voice, and we're talking about the voice of truth, the voice of truth. Is this a little voice so small and still it cannot rise above the senseless noise of sounds that have no meaning? God willed not his Son forget him, and the power of his will is in the voice that speaks for him. Which lesson will you learn? What outcome is inevitable, sure as God, and far beyond all doubt and question? Can it be your little learning, strange in outcome and incredible in difficulty, will withstand the simple lessons being taught to you in every moment of each day since time began and learning had been made? The lessons to be learned are only two. Each has its outcome in a different world, and each world follows surely from its source. The certain outcome of the lesson that God's Son is guilty is the world you see. It is a world of terror and despair, nor is there hope of happiness in it. There is no plan for safety you can make that ever will succeed. There is no joy that you can seek for here and hope to find. Yet this is not the only outcome which your learning can produce. However much you may have overlearned your chosen task, the lesson that reflects the love of God is stronger still, and you will learn God's Son is innocent and see another world. The outcome of the lesson that God's Son is guiltless is a world in which there is no fear, and everything is lit with hope and sparkles with a gentle friendliness. Nothing but calls to you in soft appeal to be your friend, and let it join with you. And never does a call remain unheard, misunderstood, nor left unanswered in the selfsame tongue in which the call was made. And you will understand it was this call that everyone and everything within the world has always made, but you had not perceived it as it was. And now you see you were mistaken. You had been deceived by forms the call was hidden in, and so you did not hear it, and had lost a friend who always wanted to be a part of you. The soft, eternal calling of each part of God's creation to the whole is heard throughout the world, this second lesson brings. There is no living thing that does not share the universal will that it be whole, and that you do not leave its call unheard. Without your answer it is left to die, as it is saved from death when you have heard its call as the ancient call to life, and understood that it is but your own. The Christ in you remembers God with all the certainty with which he knows his love, but only if his Son is innocent can he be love. For God were fear indeed if he whom he created innocent could be a slave to guilt. God's perfect Son remembers his creation, but in guilt he has forgotten what he really is. The fear of God results as surely from the lesson that his Son is guilty as God's love must be remembered when he learns his innocence. For hate must father fear, and look upon its father as itself. How wrong are you who fail to heal the call that echoes past each seeming call to death, that sings behind each murderous attack, and pleads that love restore the dying world. You do not understand who calls to you beyond each form of hate, each call to war. Yet you will recognize him as you give him answer in the language that he calls. He will appear when you have answered him, and you will know in him that God is love. What is temptation but a wish to make the wrong decision on what you would learn and have an outcome that you do not want? It is the recognition that it is a state of mind unwanted that becomes the means whereby the choice is reassessed. Another outcome seemed to be preferred. You are deceived if you believe you want disaster and disunity and pain. Hear not the call for this within yourself. Hear not the call for this within yourself, but listen rather to the deeper call beyond it that appeals for peace and joy, and all the world will give you joy and peace. For as you hear, you answer, and behold, your answer is the proof of what you learned. Its outcome is the world you look upon. Let us be still an instant and forget all things we ever learned, all thoughts we ever had, and every preconception that we hold of what things mean and what their purpose is. Let us remember not our own ideas of what the world is for. We do not know. Let every image held of everyone be loosened from our minds and swept away. Be innocent of judgment, unaware of any thoughts of evil or of good that ever crossed your mind of anyone. Now do you know him not, but you are free to learn of him, and learn of him anew. Now is he born again to you, and you are born again to him, without the past that sentenced him to die, and you with him. Now is he free to live as you are free, because an ancient learning passed away and left a place for truth to be reborn. I love you. Thank you so much for joining with me in the conclusion of Section 1 in Chapter 31. I love you. Have a beautiful day. I will see you tomorrow.